Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Guman-Singh. Happy Friday. Governor Kenneth Mapp spoke to the Chamber of Commerce on St. Croix on Thursday and painted a much rosier outlook, not just for St. Croix, but the entire territory, from roadwork to the new hotel project, and finally to the new Paul E. Joseph Stadium. News 2's April Knight has more.
Things in the Virgin Islands and conditions in the Virgin Islands and conditions of the government of the Virgin Islands and the outlook and conditions, particularly for the island of St. Croix, are tremendously better.
That was Governor Kenneth Mapp speaking before the Chamber of Commerce on St. Croix Thursday. The government closed its first Garvey bond transaction in December, yielding some $95 million for road work across the territory. St. Croix will get the majority of that money, some $50 million. A destination study on why St. Croix cannot attract branded hotels is currently being done by the same firm that did it for the government in 2003. This is happening ahead of the government's planned 4-star branded hotel on St. Croix.
What we plan to do is not, as a government, operate the facility. What we plan to do is own the asset of the facility, finance it, but enter into a partnership with one of the major branded entities for the operation, the development.
The government also renegotiated the construction of the Paul E. Joseph Stadium, which will be greatly expanded, calling for the government's purchase of some of the property in the surrounding area.
This project will take on the entire town of Frederiksted. We're not going to build the original work of building a stadium on St. Croix was not about building a stadium. It was about the revitalization of the town of Frederiksted.
The project will produce a brand new main stadium, a softball stadium, an amphitheater, a festival village area, and even a hotel. The governor said the project will begin construction this year. Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
The stadium will also feature a tennis field, a basketball court, and a soccer field, according to the governor. Well, St. Croix District Administrator Stephanie Williams will host 2 town hall meetings during February, during which residents can express community concerns and receive answers from representatives of various government agencies. The meetings will be held as follows, right there on the screen, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Wednesday, February 17th at Rotary West in Frederiksted. Then 5:30 to 7:30 Wednesday, February 24th at the D.C. Canegate, a multi-purpose center in Christiansted. Now, residents of St. Croix will be able to present questions and concerns to commissioners and directors of the Virgin Islands Police Department, the Department of Public Works, the Department of Labor, Department of Health, Division of Personnel, IRB, the VI Water and Power Authority, and the VI Waste Management Authority. Well, some plans revealed by the Virgin Islands Port Authority are worrying residents of Bourneville on St. Thomas. A proposed rezoning of large parcel to accommodate some Port Authority facilities is up for review, and the residents are not very happy about it. News' April Knight has details.
Bourneville residents are getting worried about their homes again after the VI Port Authority informed them in a meeting recently that VIPA is applying for a rezoning of parts of Bourneville. Port Authority wants to rezone parcel 69, more than 9 acres of land, from residential into heavy industrial. The purpose, according to officials, is to build additional cargo warehouses and relocate a maintenance facility. The parcel was deeded to the Port Authority in 1970 for developing the airport. According to Port Authority officials, it has operated the Bourneville area as a residential zone, but keeping in mind that it might have to develop the land industrially in the future. And it seems that time is fast approaching.
We're rezoning the entire parcel. However, we're not putting anybody out at this time. What we're doing, we're continuing our current policy of demolishing units as they become vacant. We do one, but it's just as the property become vacant, we demolish these units.
But residents of the Bourneville community expressed concern about what the relocation of the VIPA facility into their area would mean for, say, the value of their homes.
When will you guys have, when do you think you will have an answer for us as to how that would affect my property value? Because it's a major concern for me.
I can't say at this time. I would be lying if I say that I'm going to increase the property value or decrease the property value.
To address Bournefield residents' concerns, officials also said they're working with Housing Authority on some 80 acres of land not far from the university that could become residential. Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
Port Authority has already submitted the request for rezoning to the 31st Legislature. We will keep you updated. Governor Kenneth Mapp has nominated Mr. Usi Richards to serve as a member of the Virgin Islands Casino Control Commission in accordance with the provisions of Title 32, Chapter 21 of the Virgin Islands Code. The governor forwarded his nomination letter to the Virgin Islands Legislature on Thursday. Richards previously served as a senator from the St. Croix district as well as president of the 27th Legislature. Casino Control Commissioner served 5-year terms. In his letter to Senate President Neville James, the governor urged the legislature to act promptly on the nomination, as favorable confirmation will enhance the board's ability to meet its busy agenda. Turn our attention overseas. A southern brawl in the Republican Party is just getting started. The 7 candidates left in the race are focusing on more conservative voters as they sharpen their attacks on each other. Mary Maloney reports.
On Monday, the brothers Bush will pound the campaign pavement. It's the first time in years former President George W. Bush will be on the trail.
I'm part of the establishment because I'm a proud brother of George W. Bush.
As he spends his 63rd birthday talking to voters, Jeb sets his sights on Donald Trump.
I don't care how popular he is. He's wrong. And you better believe that if we elect him, that we're not going to win. Other than that, I'm having a great birthday.
The 7-man race is a southern slugfest with candidates getting down and dirty in the mud. Ted Cruz launching his most forceful attack yet in this ad against Trump.
Trump uses power for personal gain. Imagine the damage he could do as president.
Another Cruz spot has a different target, Marco Rubio.
Maybe you should vote for more than just a pretty face next time.
The candidates want to sway a powerful voting bloc in South Carolina, evangelicals. Rubio becoming more aggressive after a disappointing finish in New Hampshire, but says he has no plans on stopping his campaign.
We're ready for a long primary process. We're ready for it to end in a more traditional way. No one can predict this year. It's completely unpredictable.
John Kasich talking tough.
You know, I'm not going to be a pincushion, though. I don't take crap from anybody.
As Trump softens his rhetoric, perhaps a sign he's feeling comfortable with polls that show him up.
You vote for Trump, we win here. We're going to run the table.
I'm Mary Maloney reporting.
And keeping our eye on the economy, let's take a look at the stock market watch at the New York Stock Exchange. And there are the numbers. The Dow, NASDAQ, S&P 500 all up. The Dow 313, NASDAQ 70, and S&P 500 up at 35. Coming up on News 2, can you spell success? These youngsters are on their way after rounds of spelling. Plus, time for our Black History quiz. He is a strong advocate of science education for students. Between 1980 and 1983, he wrote the Science Corner column for Ebony Junior magazine. Who is it? We'll have the answer. Welcome back. The St. Croix District Spelling Bee took place today, and past Spelling Bee rival Michaela Todman and Kaim Donawa went head-to-head in the fight for the competition title. 17 schools on St. Croix participated in the Spelling Bee this year, and Spelling Bee participators and coaches worked hard to get the district competition. News 2's reporter Stephanie Brown has more.
The 43rd Spelling Bee on St. Croix took place today at the Arthur A. Richards Junior High School. Students from Alexander Henderson, Alfredo Andrews, AZ Academy, Lumoko, St. Patrick's School, and more sent participants to vie for the title of the Spelling Bee champ in the district of St. Croix.
The word of the day is rigor. And we use that word because people underestimate what a spelling bee does. A spelling bee meaning the student. You have to discipline yourself.
During the first round, 3 students were eliminated.
B-O-I-S-T.
Unity. M-U-T-I-N-Y. B-E-A-U-G-E-L.
chief judge of the St. Croix Spelling Bee received a grievance, but after playing back the tape, Maureen Moorhead ruled that the word was pronounced clearly. As the competition heated up, it was clear to see that the 2015 Territorial Spelling Bee champion, Michaela Todman, representing the John H. Woodson Junior High School, and past opponent, Cain Danoa of the Arthur A. Richards Junior High School, would dominate the competition again. And then there were two. After the misspell by Michaela, Cain was in a strong position to win the competition.
Commandeer. Commandeer. C-O-M-M-A-N-D-E-E-R, commandeer. We have a winner!
Cain Danoa will move on to the Territorial Spelling Bee competition. Stephanie Brown, News 2.
Meanwhile, on St. Thomas, students from the public, private, and parochial schools also competed. Here are the results. First place, Verin Punjabi and Tilly School. Second place, Anushka Chandiramani, VI Montessori School and International Academy. Third place, Viandre Rochester Sibley. Fourth place, Brianne Ellie, Bushelty Middle School. Fifth place, Bonnell Andrew Jr., Cancran Junior High School. And sixth place, Joshua Morgan, Gladys Abraham School. Here are the final moments for our top two spellers.
M-E-S-M-E-R-I-Z-E, mesmerize.
Correct. If he spells this word correctly, then he will be the spelling bee champion.
Number 5. Your word is corpuscle.
Corpuscle. C-O-R-P-U-S-C-L-E, corpuscle.
Correct.
And congratulations to all the students who participated. Detailed miniature colorful houses, about 40 of them, designed to withstand the natural elements common to their geographical areas. They were all on display at the John H. Woodson Junior High School. Science chairperson Ann Wilkins charged her 8th grade students with the project of building prototype green homes in line with the U.S. Department of Energy's Homes for Humanity program. Wilkins said she got the idea while visiting a school system in Montgomery, Maryland, where 8th graders were tasked by the U.S. Department of Energy to build homes that were considered to be eco-friendly. Students spent countless hours each day building structures typical of the countries they had chosen and researched the climate of the areas. Well, when you visit AgriFest 2016 this weekend, the St. Croix Landmark Society's research, library, and archives teams say they will be on hand to help you reconnect with your ancestors. Ever wondered on what estate Granny was born or where great-grandfather Peter worked as a young man? Well, the SCLS, the team, wants to connect you with at least one ancestor when you visit them this weekend at AgriFest 2016. The annual festival of food and culture, they say they will be located near the Forestry Building west of the fair's main entrance off the Queen Mary Highway. And the 45th Annual Agriculture and Food Fair, of course, is taking place Saturday through Monday at the Rudolph Schultebrand Agricultural Complex in Estate Lower Love, St. Croix. Gates open from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. each day. On Saturday, the open ceremonies will be at 10 a.m., followed by an open quadrille dance. Now, the highlight of the ceremony is the Farmer of the Year Award. Other activities also include junior and senior calypso shows, donkey cart rides, and horse rides. Remember, more than 50 vendors selling fruits, vegetables, and more. And as always, animals and exhibits. Time for a moment in Black history. Evan Ford, whose father was a high school science teacher, developed a love of science as a young boy. He always wanted to be a scientist. He already had a telescope, microscope, and chemistry set by the time he was in the 3rd grade. By age 23, he had already earned a bachelor's degree in geology and a master's degree in marine geology from Columbia University. Ford became a researcher in marine geology at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, in the summer of 1973, while still an undergraduate. He worked for NOAA in a variety of capacities ever since. His area of expertise is submarine canyons, and he has researched their formation and evolution as well as the causes of underwater landslides and avalanches. In 1979, he became the first African-American oceanographer to participate in dives aboard research submersible vessels that operate underwater. In addition to his research, he is a strong advocate of science education for students. Between 1980 and 1983, he wrote the Science Corner column for Ebony Junior magazine. The month of February is known as National Heart Month, and Schneider Regional Medical Center is celebrating with the unveiling of a new heart and lung center. Officials say it will allow patients to stay on island for health care and follow up with treatment as needed. Now, many enjoyed a tour of the new space on Thursday. The suite contains 4 patient exam rooms, an echo lab and a stress lab, a physician assistant consultation room, and physician offices. Dr. Kendall Griffith will fly over from St. Croix twice a week to treat the hospital's more critical patients as the Schneider Regional Medical Center continues to recruit a permanent cardiologist since Dr. Roy Flood's departure. Speaking of Heart Month, every February 14th, candy, flowers, and gifts are exchanged between loved ones, all in the name of Saint Valentine. But who is this mysterious saint? Well, there are many legends. The best known began in Rome when the Emperor Claudius was involved in many bloody and unpopular campaigns. Claudius the Cruel, as he was called, was having a difficult time getting soldiers to join his military leagues. He believed that the reason was that Roman men did not want to leave their loves or families, so he canceled all marriages and engagements in Rome. The good Saint Valentine, who was a priest in Rome in the year 269 AD, together with his friend Saint Marius, defied Claudius and continued to perform marriages for young lovers in secret. When Valentine's actions were discovered, he was sentenced to be beaten to death with clubs and to have his head cut off. But while in prison, it is believed that Valentine fell in love with a young girl who may have been his jailer's daughter, who visited him during his confinement. Before his death on the 14th day of February, it is alleged that he wrote her a letter which signed "From your Valentine" in 496 AD. Pope Gelasius set aside February 14th to honor St. Valentine. Many vendors are aside the roads on St. Croix. They have begun to sell Valentine's basket to residents filled with chocolates, stuffed animals, balloons, and candy. Even though Valentine's Day will officially be celebrated on Sunday, February 14th, customers were already lining up to purchase items for their loved ones. Of course, Valentine's Day gifts can be purchased at the upcoming agriculture fair, where vendors have an array of items such as handcrafted jewelry, artwork, clothing, and local trinkets. From the looks of it, it seems like more vendors will be set up shop throughout the island of St. Croix. It was the same scene on St. Thomas, and it's just to make sure your sweetheart or loved one feels special. Be sure to patronize the vendors at the ag fair or a retail shop, as well as vendors you may find selling baskets and flowers on the roadsides. Well, hundreds of people are out presently enjoying the annual Christiansted Valentine's Jump Up held in Christiansted, presented by the Restaurant and Retail Association. As the case in every Jump Up, there is plenty of entertainment, food, and music from local bands. This Jump Up is timely, giving some shoppers an opportunity to do some last-minute gift hunting for that special someone for Valentine's Day. Entertainment will be by Mana's Black Sheep, Ebenezer Steel Orchestra, Mind, Body and Soul, High Hopes Band, The Ensemble, and Rising Stars. Be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.